Hey, welcome to another episode of Spontaneous Disruption. It's your girl, L.
Hey, it's your host, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. What's up, girl?
Highs and lows.
Highs and lows, for sure. Mostly low.
More lows than highs right now.
Mostly lows for myself as well today, but we'll get into that later. We have to delve deep into that. So what you been up to?
Oh, my gosh. Girl, living a boring existence right now.
That's actually a good thing sometimes.
Work is like super busy.
Well, that's not boring. It's just busy, right?
No, because because it's been consuming my weekends too. I've had stuff to do on the weekends too, and so it doesn't always happen. It's like maybe a couple times a year I get like really overloaded, and so I live that inside life. I don't get to go outside much.
You haven't been doing anything fun?
No, I haven't been out the house.
Oh my goodness!
Since Friday, other than to go work out, since last Thursday night.
Oh wow! So what do you do to wind down for fun?
Well, I mean, I've been working nonstop. You know what I mean? Yeah. I put my feet up and stuff, and just eat, cook, whatever, watch TV a little. But I've read, I've done a little personal work on the computer, like just different stuff like surfing. But nothing. I mean, that's what I mean, like bored.
Super, it's almost boring. Cuffing season and all. We talking about fall, so you'll be in the house.
I don't got nothing cuffed right now.
Well, you won't have to pull it together. You need a buddy.
I'm not. I don't have anybody in cuffs, and I am not currently in cuffs. Girl,
we're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to work on that. Like I told my sis, we're going to find you a plus one.
I need permanent cuffs, though. Permanent cuffs.
Okay, well, we'll see. You got to walk before
I need to go ahead
run.
and get me a companion.
Yeah.
For life, so that so I have somebody take care of me when I get old.
Oh Lord. There are other reasons to have someone.
No, that's the only reason. That is the only reason. I'm just joking, but I know. What have you been up to?
Well, I just got back from New Orleans.
Yes. NOLA?
Yes, NOLA, hanging out with our family. I went to a Staples event. It was actually a benefit as well. It was for scholarships, for little black students.
Oh, nice.
I know it's terrible. I can't really remember the name of it because we kind of went last minute. We actually went for Bay's brother's birthday because he was going to be out there, so we wanted to kind of go out there and celebrate with him, and he was attending this event, and so we got last minute tickets, which is good. So we consider it a donation. So
they're fun. I've met them.
Yes, it was good. We had a good time. There's always a good time in NOLA. Lots and lots of walking, lots and lots of drinking, lots and lots of eating. So
I bet it was lots and lots of some other stuff too. But
girl, please, between walking, eating, I was sleeping.
City of sin, second to like
Vegas. It is. It's kind of creepy at night too.
Girl, I do not go outside in the dark.
In New Orleans? No, yes. It's really scary looking, actually.
It is. It's like a serial killer haven.
I know. And
it reminds you of like the old, like, what is it?
So old.
The London slasher.
It does.
Whatever.
Or those vampire movies and stuff too. Yes, it's very they supposedly have all that kind of activity. I actually walked past a bar that said it was like some vampire type bar. They really lean into that culture.
Voodoo culture. Yeah.
Yes, they lean into it.
I'm not with it.
Girl, I actually got up late one night. Bae was downstairs in the hotel having a drink with his cousin. He has family there. Mm-hmm. And so, I took a long nap. I woke up probably, I guess, about 10:30. I thought they were still downstairs, so I got dressed going downstairs, and I called him. He was just like, we went up the street to the store. He was like, so I was just getting some snacks and stuff. We on our way back. I was like, shit, I'm trying to be out. We on vacation. So I started walking. He was like, are you crazy?
Yeah. So no.
I said, well, I'm just going to walk till I see some people.
No.
He was like, that is not even like you. Don't do that. I won't do that no more. But yeah, I caught up with him. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no.
But yeah, that was not smart. The things that you should not do when you're on vacation late at night by yourself. He was not happy. Yeah. But thank God I won't do it again.
You should find out where they're going and you Uber.
Right, but I mean, he said that was only a couple of blocks up. So I was like, yeah. But it was crazy. It is. And that's what I noticed as I was walking. It was like a block. I didn't see people. And then I was like, ooh, it is a little scary. I was like, you won't have to talk to me till I get to you. He was like, just like stay where you at. I was like, shit, I'm not about to just stay here. I'm just gonna keep moving.
Turn back.
I should have, but yeah, I caught up. I had a good time though. Otherwise,
That's good.
We just got back yesterday, so I'm a little bit tired, but I'm making it do what it do, girl.
I'm tired for other reasons, but I'm good. I'm okay.
All right, girl. You ready to get into this shit? Other than what? What you got?
The obvious, but like we can move on. We'll talk about it later.
Move it on.
Maybe.
All righty. We're going to get started with the show. Let's start with technically speaking. And we've been telling y'all to read those terms and terms of service agreements. So X has finally changed its terms of service to let its AI train on everyone's posts. Okay, users are all up in arms, and apparently, they're letting third parties also use their data to train. Okay, So yeah, more companies are signing content licensing deals with artificial intelligence firms. Elon Musk's, the Musk man, X was already using your data to train its own artificial intelligence, so it'll let others companies do the same. Okay. So starting November 15th, the social media site formerly known as Twitter will share user data, including posts, likes, bookmarks, and reposts with third-party platforms. Okay? Okay, so you all better check those terms and the terms and AI service agreements. And I think there's an opportunity for you to opt out. So you need to take a look at your settings. And yeah, you need to make sure that you tell them that you do not want to share or disclose your information with third parties. Okay. So from what I understand, the policy reads, if you do not opt out, in some instances, the recipients of the information may use it for their own independent purposes, in addition to those stated in X's privacy policy, including, for example, to train their artificial intelligence models, whether generative or otherwise. So take a look at those. Opt out, people, if you can.
Ultimately, like, you just, anything you put in social media, whether it's a direct message, even, like, if you don't want it to be public, just don't even send it, because it's just not secure. Things are getting hacked. It's just not. Yeah. And they manipulate these policies in their favor at the end of the day to sell your data.
Yeah,
that's the new gold, platinum, if you will. So
I actually don't use X. I tried for years. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I don't really get into that whole culture with X. So
at a point prior to Elon taking over, I was pretty heavy into X. It's actually, Twitter. Pretty heavily into Twitter. It was kind of fun, especially if you like get plugged into like Twitter, like the Twitterverse, Africa, Black Twitter, like Black Twitter, like versions, like so it's funny actually. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's what Threads is trying to be now. Yeah, but it's I don't think it's as popular yet.
Yeah. So all right, so there's that. What you got, sis?
Well, similar on the AI front, Google Maps is adding AI features to their Maps tool. So, how we use the Google Maps app, like on our phones or whatever, other devices, it's plugged into even some cars. They're adding AI as an element, their Gemini technology, that is, to allow users to converse with these tools to ask for directions and tips and, details around specific like neighborhoods and cities. So what this ought to tell you is... if you can converse with this app, it's listening to you. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, it's also learning from all the interactions that it's having with you. So, I mean, on one hand, it might be handy because it might tell you, there's parking available in a particular spot where you're driving around, like trying to find a parking space. So, so it might be something like that. It might be able to make specific restaurant suggestions. The thing is, like, you can see, I know, right? You can still do those types of searches, like, restaurants nearby, but it pretty much makes it like an easier interaction for you and more direct conversational chat.
They almost make you chat with these things and talk to them. I just, I guess you just say, hey, give me a list of restaurants or, ramen restaurants within half a mile or something. It starts to tell you, I guess.
This would have been great when I was in Chicago visiting recently.
Yeah, could have been. I mean, I can see some good in some of these things. So.
And some of it's just nefarious. Like anything in Elon Musk's hands concerns me.
I also wonder about how updated these things are. For instance, so, we've discussed like some of the direction apps, I think even including Google Maps, have led people astray into rivers and bridges that are broken down. So
so they're saying that with this particular AI feature being baked into Google Maps, they probably have like at least a reasonable level of comfort that it's improved in accuracy in terms of the training that it's been getting. So with lots and lots of testing, that is. So this is, in a way, a pilot. They're only giving out to U.S. users, which I don't know if it's a segment of the population. They didn't say that, because U.S. users seems like a really huge pilot group. But it's a new feature. It's probably going to have bugs and lots of refinement to take place over the course of its life.
Okay.
That's it for me.
We'll see. I may be interested in the restaurant part of it.
I feel like you know where all the restaurants are.
We'll see. Maybe I don't, but Google Maps gonna let me know.
They sure will.
All right. So yeah, we're AI heavy today. So there's another story that's not so fun or not so good. So we're talking about a mom who believes that an AI chatbot is responsible for her son's suicide. So sad. I saw this on the news recently. So Megan Garcia filed a civil lawsuit against Character AI, which makes a customizable chatbot for role playing. Okay. So she filed this in federal court in Florida, alleging negligence, wrongful death, and deceptive trade practices. So sad. I don't know if you saw anything about this.
I did not see this. Like, what happened?
So her son, his name was Sewell Setzer. He was 14 years old. He died in Orlando, Florida in February. So in the months leading up to his death, he used this chatbot day and night, according to his mom. Okay. And he had been enthralled with this chatbot by Character AI. He nicknamed the chatbot Daenerys Targaryen after the character in Game of Thrones. And so he would text this bot several times a day from his phone. And he spent hours alone in his room talking to it. So according to his mom, he was, he actually was having issues with, mental, issues and depression. And so I think he was overusing this app, and he started kind of talking to the app about suicide and saying that he had planned to kill himself. Okay. And so apparently this chatbot asked him if he had a plan to do so. And so the young man said, not really. I'm just afraid that I'll hurt myself and I'm not successful at it. And so the chatbot allegedly told him that's not a reason not to go through with it.
Wow.
Crazy.
I've seen some chat interactions recently. It was a woman. She did kind of a test with the chat, and she said, hey, analyze my Instagram feed. And it just said, I think she did like balloon event, decorations and stuff. And it was like, it's really colorful and this and that and da-da-da-da-da. And then she said, well, be mean. And then it came back with like some savagery, and it was just like, it looks like basically a dog's dinner. Like, like someone threw up Skittles on your page. Like it's too much. Like, you know what I mean? It's just overwhelming, blah, blah, blah. So if these things are learning from us, right, as a society, and there's so much negativity and vitriol like exchange,
so much,
that is what these things are consuming, and that is what essentially they will be returning to us.
That's what
they're learning.
I actually believe that there may be a case there. So I don't know who's going to be responsible for it. As a parent, kids are constantly in contact with technology. And I guess you can't see everything your kid is actually doing. So, I definitely don't want to put any blame on her, but there definitely should be some guardrails around these AI chatbots that are being marketed and used by kids. Yeah. So I don't know.
Parents do have some control about the apps they can let their kids have access to, but it's kind of like a warning. Cautionary tale for other parents. They might need to block those. But there's so many of them.
There's so many, and they're popping up like almost daily, it seems like, and they're regulating themselves. No one is regulating them.
Like we were just talking about,
so where's the accountability? Maps,
yeah. Like Twitter, like, and then it's like embedded into these other apps. So if you're going to be like adding them to other apps, then maybe there should be, this is on the parental control screen.
Yeah.
And you can disable it type solutions too. But, they don't care.
They don't care. I'm just wondering, even if they try to put some guardrails around some of this stuff with regard to age, how are they going to verify these ages? Anybody can say, like Facebook, when it originally came around, you had to be, I think, 15 and up or something?
Yeah, I think so.
I knew some kids like 8 years old, 9 years old, they start messing around on Facebook because there's, again, no guardrails around it, no accountability, no regulation.
8 to 16-year-olds don't have jobs. So if it's parents out there providing these tools to them, they also have some responsibility to kind of monitor what they're doing and limit, their access.
Absolutely. But that's just outrageous. I mean, the kid answers the chatbot and says, I don't really want to, I think about suicide, but I don't want to do it because I think I might just end up causing myself great pain and not succeed. And it says, well, that's not a reason to do it. Like, what?
Or a reason not to do it. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's insane. All right, girl. So what you got, ma'am?
Well, we can pivot to some low vibration news, as if that wasn't low enough.
Yeah,
right?
It was pretty low.
Yeah, so I mean, you probably heard about these two Brazilian influencers, Aline Tamara Moreira de Almarin. She was 37, and then Beatriz Tavares de Silva Faria. I don't know how many names these people have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just, you know what I mean, of whatever. So, like, basically, like, I think it's saying of a certain place. I don't know if that's, like, part of your name. But anyway, the other woman was 27. Okay. They both ignored pleas. They had gone to a yacht party.
Yeah. I've read about
this. Transported out there via like a smaller like speedboat.
Yeah,
that's how they were getting people out to this yacht, and it was their turn to go back. And they were in this area of the Iguazu River, called Devil's Throat. Oof. First of all,
No,
you in some area of water called Devil's Throat in Brazil of all places. I'm not playing with the water or the rivers.
Oh, you already know I'm not doing it.
Period. Okay.
Yes.
But so their pushback was really about the fact that they didn't want to put on life jackets because they thought it was going to interfere with their tan lines as they were taking selfies and whatever else. And so, additionally, they pressured this captain, who never should have given in, to be quite honest, that had a capacity, his boat capacity was 5. And he loaded on 6 people, which also really kind of like weighed down this vessel. Yeah. And so when these really kind of viscous waves started like coming over the sides of this boat, which was lower than it should have been, it inundated the boat and basically threw the passengers into the water, and the boat kind of turned. And
that's
so
an awful tragedy.
You in Devil's Throat.
Okay. Getting swallowed up for sure.
Swallowed up, girl. So they passed.
You would think they would know better. That is so sad. I read some of this. I did not know they were 37 and 27. Both probably should have known better.
Old enough
especially
to know.
When you can't swim, which is why it's so important. I'm not going to talk about the fact that I'm still not taking my swimming class. But
even if you can't swim,
I would not. I can't swim, so I definitely would not be on a boat like that without a life jacket.
You have anything can happen.
Though. I definitely do.
Okay, so like these women were more concerned about their tan lines than safety. Just anybody like running some type of like
good for the gram.
Yeah, that's all. And they're telling you need to do this as a safety precaution.
Yeah,
and you don't take heed. That's crazy to me. That's wild. But yeah, that's the story.
That's unfortunate. They lost their lives trying to take photos for Instagram. This influencing thing. I'm almost amazed at the age of some people who are still, but they say it's like the dopamine of it. They get really excited by these clicks and likes and just being, I don't know, popularity is definitely a drug. It's craziness. Well, prayers out to their family. It's not worth it, man.
Popular in hell, man.
Yeah, well, Devil's Throat.
Devil's Throat.
That ain't good.
No, it is not.
All right, well, let's get to some highlights. Bring it a little bit higher here.
Can we?
Yes, ma'am. Let's talk about Ashley T. Johnson. Ashley T. Johnson. Yep. She is the lead special agent in charge of the St. Louis FBI field office. This is historic, folks. She now makes history as the first woman and the first Black woman ever to hold the title. Okay. She holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's in sociology. She joined the FBI in 2007, investigating civil rights violations and white-collar crimes in New Orleans. Okay. That must have kept her busy. She later became a supervisory special agent in the cyber division and moved to Atlanta in 2013. So she here around these parts. Well, she was anyway. She in St. Louis now. Okay, so she led the domestic terrorism squad and focused on law enforcement corruption. So she got promoted to assistant special agent in charge. She founded the Atlanta Development and Leadership Council to support career development. In 2020, she transitioned to FBI headquarters in D.C. and became Section Chief of International Operations Division before her current role. So, talk about an overachiever. I love it. Yeah, she's thriving, Ashley.
But come January 7th.
Oh, my goodness. We gonna see.
I don't know. He already talk about he gonna clean house. I don't know.
Who's he? We gonna get to that later. So, well, for right now, we just gonna celebrate Ashley and her new role. Okay, congratulations to you, sis. You know, first black woman ever to hold the title. You know,
keep that resume fresh, girl.
I cannot. But anyway, speaking of him, let's go on to the internet of things. Okay,
yeah. What's happening,
child? As we record today, we woke up to the results that Donald J. Trump is the president-elect.
Girl, I went to sleep like early last night and then woke up probably around 1 or 2-ish in the morning. And I saw your text. I already know.
I already kind of knew too. I fell asleep early on the couch, and I purposely watched movies and didn't watch any news. You know, I just have to protect my peace, and I just didn't want to be on pins and needles. I was like, I'll figure it out. My sister called me at one point, talking about she was worried. I was like, girl, don't call me with that mess and negativity. She called early on. So I fell asleep, but I knew like my phone was quiet. Nobody was calling. Nobody was texting. And I fell asleep on the couch, and then I got in the bed, and Bae kind of turned the TV on in the bedroom. I was like, you know, you can't watch that while I'm trying to go back to sleep because I don't really want to know what's going on. I could tell he was kind of worried about it. And I kind of had a feeling too, again, like I said, because, my phone wasn't going off. Nobody was calling. It was like pin drop, quiet. But I will say this. I was very surprised to wake up this morning to see that we actually knew who the winner was. I thought we would not know. That's because she got smoked. Yeah. She got smoked. We're talking about what? She had 227 electoral votes, and I think did he have 300 or close to 300? If not, and he actually did something that hasn't been done in almost a decade. He won the popular vote. So today's been weird. I went into the office today because I go into the office on this day in particular during the week.
I'm in protest.
It was very quiet. Right, it was so quiet. I didn't hear anybody talking about it. Nobody was goading anybody. It was interesting. It's almost like people knew. It's not the time to gloat about it. I'm really, really, I won't say really, really surprised. I was mildly surprised.
I wasn't surprised at all. Yeah, because I was surprised when he ran against Hillary, right?
Yeah.
And I was shocked when Hillary lost against him because I was like, who would elect this buffoon?
Yeah, I was more shocked for sure.
So then after that, nothing has surprised me.
I mean, this just solidified that we already know we're in a patriarchy. You know, I think there was a rebuke of women. There were many things that went wrong. First of all, Joe Biden dropped out way late. She only had 107 days, like a little over 3 months.
Yeah.
To, get out and rally and excite the base. She ran a great campaign. She did. I mean, that was one of the things. The other thing is she happened to be a woman and a woman of color. Also, I think was a challenge. Of the other challenges, I mean, a lot of women did not vote for her, which is surprising. A lot of white women, a lot of black men. I don't know. I think people felt like they didn't know her. And honestly, the economy's in the tanker, and she was never strong on that. He was always beating her on the economy and the border crisis. Those are huge. And
I've said it even when Obama was in office, that was a failed opportunity for him to address like border issues.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is where the Dems have always been weak.
Yes.
is on immigration.
They're always just
so weak
soft
on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I do know that Trump said straight up, like, he's going to fix it so we don't have to vote anymore. So, I don't know what that's about. But the fact that they have the Senate, the House, and the Supreme Court.
Well, the House is not decided yet, but it sounds like he's going to have unchecked power.
Exactly.
And that is a huge concern for me. This is America. We have to have a balance of power, and it doesn't seem like there will be one. And I don't know, several months ago when he started this thing, he had a political hit list. So, Fonnie, girl, you better be in WITSEC. Witness protection, whoever else he pissed off at.
Chris Ray.
Not to mention the Capitol riot. Yeah.
He'll probably be returning to his former firm.
Oh, gosh. Girl. And yeah, the Capitol rioters, they may be getting excused as well. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he'll pardon himself.
I don't know what's
he'll probably be the first president to pardon himself.
He's going to pardon himself. I don't know what happens to Fonnie Willis's case against him. He's got a whole list of folks.
Oh, yeah.
Who didn't support him. I think he had even said something about Liz Cheney. Somebody need to have some double barrels on her or something. It's just the things that he says. And people are always like, oh, he doesn't mean it.
I mean, he like hocked to it a microphone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is y'all's president.
Ultimately, we're going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. We're going to be fine, child. But I'm just like, part of me is like, I don't know what fresh hell awaits. Because this man has, like, again, he has a political hit list. But he's also made a lot of promises. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've never been able to speak to anyone who can make sense of why they would actually vote for him.
So, if you want to know, go read, again, Project, 2025.
Yeah, but those a select group of people, but people that I think have actually a decent head on their shoulders. I don't understand. They'll say, "Well, yeah, they believe him."
It's still in his ear and in his corner.
Yeah,
I believe a lot of what is in there, he will probably try to implement.
He's gonna try,
and then some.
Well, let's just hope that some people on his side are gonna talk him down. I mean, they tried to in his first term.
That he wants to dismantle Department of Education, like anybody teaching,
critical
about
race
slavery,
theory and things like that. Yeah.
Native
it's part
American
of history, which is insane. Come on,
all these things. He'll defund.
Yeah,
not gonna defund, but qualified immunity. Mm-hmm. Just
it's crazy.
Open season,
and they're already talking about there's a couple of older Supreme Court justices who probably are going to step down during his tenure.
He'll be able to appoint
some others.
Able
to, appoint. They really need term limits on that. Even the president goes in and out. Why do they get to stay?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I think he's going to have it so that he doesn't have to leave. I think that's going I think that's what he'll be aiming for.
That's the Constitution. I don't think they're going to rewrite that. He's going to get out of here, but he's going to do a whole lot of damn damage on his way out.
They changed the Constitution with women's rights, reproductive rights.
Well, yeah, but reproductive rights didn't start off in the Constitution. It's not baked in it like, the terms of the presidency are baked into the Constitution.
But they use laws passed by the Supreme Court to amend the Constitution. We didn't have the right to vote. We weren't considered human in the Constitution.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We're not full human.
Yeah.
So no.
There's a lot of stuff still in there. I don't understand.
We need a new Constitution.
It needs to be definitely updated.
And he probably will just throw the whole thing away. I don't know. Baby out with the bathwater. I'm not really sure.
They're not gonna allow him to do that because chaos will. Well, he's the king of chaos anyway. Who gonna check him, boo?
Who gonna check him?
I don't know. The power really is in the people. I've seen people overthrow governments. Now, I'm not saying overthrow the government because y'all January 6th rioters, y'all not like us. We not talking about y'all. But we need to make sure that there's some checks and balances in place. And hopefully that is going to happen.
I don't know from whom, though. I mean...
Girl, we gonna see. We
just gonna see.
My thing too is folks today, it's been a difficult day. I've been up and down. I've had a headache pretty much all day. I've run the gamut of emotions with this whole thing, and I'm just exhausted mentally and just spiritually on that whole thing. So, but people have been like, oh, the Most High, I put my faith in the Most High. It's going to take care of it, and that's the answer. And I'm just like, that probably comforts someone, but it's not me right now. So I love the Lord. Lord, I love you, Lord. But I feel how I feel right now. So
Well, I am putting my confidence, my faith in the Most High, and
for sure
that He's going to take care of us individually.
He will. And, I know that. I just said it don't come from me. I do know that.
And as you had said, at times it's going to be what it's going to be.
It's going to be what it's going to be, Lord.
Because I feel like this is all part of the master plan. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But we just got to stay tuned and stay vigilant.
Yeah. Hey, keep your head on the swivel. Absolutely. Oh, wait, child. But anyway, who else need to keep their head on the swivel? From what I understand, is some of these Diddy accusers.
Some of them, girl.
What you got? Tell us about it.
Well, recently, Manhattan U.S. District Judge Mary Kay Viscosil, she ruled that a woman who is suing, Diddy for rape, when she was 19 years old, has to identify herself if she wants to move her case forward. So basically, she's saying it's like it's in the interest of the public, or in other words, like Diddy's being accused publicly, so like basically you can't like stay hidden. So he's under like the public scrutiny, and so you've essentially got to be exposed as well to that same scrutiny. Otherwise, there's like an imbalance of influence on the outcome. But the thing is, she was, again, 19 when this happened. She wasn't underage, but at the same time, she was very young. She said that she had been invited by a friend to a party at his hotel. And when they arrived, his security detail shut them in a room and locked the door. Ooh. And then supposedly he forced like alcohol and drugs on them, and fondled, molested, and ultimately raped her. So this is what she's claiming. And, basically, if she doesn't agree with, like, revealing who she is, or it being revealed who she is, the judge says she has to drop her case. That's wild to me.
It is very wild. What I read was that, yes, it happened when you were underage, but you decided to file. You're of age. That was, I guess another 20 years ago. So they're saying it's of age, and Diddy has a right, which I believe that's maybe somewhere in somebody's constitution. If it's not on a state constitution, maybe it is in the big book, that he has a right to face his accuser. I mean, he has to delve into her, I guess, her background and do his investigation, supposedly. So they're saying that,
Well, he's facing over 120.
And they said this is going to probably change a lot of the anonymous ones. All of them are going to be forced to reveal themselves. So I guess that's actually an interesting tactic of his attorneys, because a lot of them are probably going to drop the case.
They probably will, but the thing is, like, why, if that's not typically, like, the letter in which you follow, why would you do, like, I feel like it's collusion between the judge or the judge's office and, his attorneys. Because it's like, I mean.
But didn't this just happen also to the country singer in Tennessee that, he wanted to remain. That's right. He wanted to remain anonymous, didn't he?
I think so. I can't remember.
And they were telling him, no, he couldn't. Can't remember his name. Interesting.
But the thing is, like, I just don't. I just like in typically these types of lawsuits, you can remain anonymous, but in this case, they're saying, hey, you gotta be put on blast.
I'm trying to see if that's going to somehow get overturned. I don't know. But I also saw that she has till November 13th to refile her suit with her given name attached. So we'll see if that happens.
Well,
I mean, if this really happened to you, hopefully, hey.
I would just go ahead and just do it. Yeah. If you felt real strongly about it. The thing is, like, I think part of the reason they're being so harsh with these folks is because the timing of it. Yeah. It's like you waited until, all this time, just like Cassie did, right? And so, like, when he got put in jail, boom, it's like the lawsuits just kind of flooded in. And I think people are expecting, like, payouts, essentially. Yeah. I think on one hand, it's a deterrent, but I don't know. Sounds like, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. But she was one of the first people to file such complaint against her. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, otherwise, other than that, in terms of public beefs, Draya Michele has clapped back at Lara Govan. So basically, these are two former Basketball Wives LA alum. They got into a little online spat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Draya, of course, is the woman who recently had a baby with a young basketball player.
Jalen something Green.
Yeah, I think he's maybe 22 or something now. And so she's closer to 40, definitely in her late 30s. But in a recent interview with Carlos King, who does a lot of, just kind of celebrity talk. In the mess. Yeah, and he's friends with a lot of these people. He interviewed Lara, who accused Draya of hooking up with her ex-fiance, Gilbert Arenas, who's also a basketball player. But this is supposed to be like way back in the day. And so I say Draya clapped back because she basically said, I'm tired of being cyberbullied because, like, first of all, when she had this baby,
she done told y'all her whole been deleted.
Everybody came for her.
They did. Yeah.
So that was one thing, and then the other thing was, she was just like, this is the craziest thing she said. She said, "I don't bother nobody. Why does nobody bother me?" So she's basically saying she's calling Lara a nobody. So right, and so she also said that she, the timelines of which she's accusing her of don't line up. She refused. She denies outright that she had any type of affairs or mess with anyone's husband. Now, Lara Govan
not messing with Gilbert Arenas.
Exactly, and they were never married. I don't think, right?
I think they did get married.
Did they get married?
I think they finally did get married.
But at the time that this was supposed to be like allegedly had happened, they were engaged, and not married. But so she specifically said, "I didn't mess with anyone's husband."
Yes.
So like I feel like that's a technicality that she's kind of dropping on us. I mean, she also said, basically, when it comes to dirty laundry, like I feel like if there was any, it would have already been aired and carried, put out there since her storyline carried the whole show.
Oh, I saw that.
Woo, I was like, honey.
She basically told Laura too. She did a Evelyn Lozada. She was like, "You are not a motherfucking factor." Basically,
she's funny. I mean, she's kind of funny in her types of
she
her.
Has
like,
always
she's
been
like
funny.
Super classy and like low key about like her stuff. But I feel like she'll be cutting real deep though sometimes. But
she said she didn't make the connection when she went on the show. She was like, "I didn't know. I wouldn't have made the connection that you were who you were." She claimed she didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny too because like rumors from 2009 about Lara Govan are also resurfacing in light of this about her having supposedly an improper interactions with Shaquille, whether it be offline or in person or whatever. And Shaquille was, as you know, Shawnee O'Neal's ex-husband. They were married for a very long time. It was very out in the open.
Yes.
And she happens to be the producer of this show.
I know.
Basketball Wives, which is super awkward.
It's a lot. It's like, honey, it's like kettle, meat pot.
Right. This is like so messy
crazy.
Right now.
So, yeah. Well, ladies, y'all work it out or fight it out. I don't know what you gonna do, but everybody too grown, and they still talking about the old stuff. Like it's
why is it coming up?
I don't know.
Yeah, grow up, all of y'all. None of y'all with these men right now, anyway. No. So they have moved on. None of them are saying anything about y'all. Why is this even coming up?
Exactly. All right. Now, who else needs to grow up and stop bringing up stuff?
Who is
that? I don't know if you saw this on the internet. I ran across this story about a woman who was recording a man that she claimed was following her. Okay. Her name is Kiani. I don't know. Somewhere they say she an unlicensed nail tech. Not that matters. I'm just saying.
It does matter.
So she accused a man of following her, and she spewed a bunch of expletives at him. So she was at the Target store, and so she turns around and she was like, "Are you recording me?" And he was like, no. And he said he shows her his phone so she could see that his phone is like locked. She said, "Well, since she recorded me, I'm gonna record you. Get the F on. Get the F on. You've been following me for 3 hours." And he immediately backed off. And so she posted this video on TikTok and it went viral. It has over 1 million views. Girl, so the gag is, so the young man, he's 22 years old. His name is Christian Houghton. He came online to defend himself. He's a Jackson State student studying music. He's a drum major. And basically, he said he was looking for a few things. He said, first of all, he was looking for a lamp and a couple, he said he was looking for an outfit for homecoming. It was homecoming. He wanted to look fly. So he said, he's just walking. He said he saw her in front of him, but, he's like really focused on what he needed to do, looking at a shirt that he didn't think was going to work out, looked at some pants, didn't think that was going to work out, needed a lamp. So he goes to, get the lamp, and that's when she turns around and she starts basically cursing him out and recording him. And, again, like I said, he showed her he wasn't recording her, and he immediately backed off. So a couple of hours later, he's, practicing band at school. He said his phone is blowing up. His friends calling him saying that he's on TikTok. And there's a TikTok about him. So she had posted the video without his consent. And all these people were calling him and telling him about all these negative comments, basically calling him like a weirdo, a predator, and things like that. So this went on for like 96 hours. He said he was so upset, and it just really emotionally damaged him and stressed him out.
He should sue her.
Right. And so he said,
I'm sure that store has cameras.
Right. So he goes back and he looks again, and he said the video was down. But then she puts the video back up, but she turns the comments off because apparently some people that knew him was going in the comments and saying, yo, this my boy. He not that type of person. And so the crazy thing about that is, there's two sides of the story. I don't know if he was following her or not. He says that he wasn't. He posted the video. He seemed very sincere. But something like this can really impact somebody else's life.
And it can really happen to anyone.
He's a black man, okay? This is some stuff that can just really mess him up. Have some discernment before, like, posting for clicks. Why would you even post something like that? You got over 1 million views on this young man, okay? Posting on social media shouldn't be the first thing you think of. If you feel threatened or, upset, or you feel, scared in any way, why don't you go get security? There's other ways to handle that. You're shooting a video cussing this man out, and then you post it. What's the point of posting that?
Clout, I guess. I don't know. Sensationalism.
That's what people were saying. Yeah, sensationalism.
I don't
know. The world we live in today is just insane to me that's what you would think of to damage this young man's reputation. Again, like I said, Jackson State student, black man. He was like, I don't know anybody. In his video, he was like, I'm not from here. I don't live here. I live several hours. I'm just here for my education. I'm out, and this is what I'm faced with. He was like, this has really caused me great stress and anxiety. He was like, my anxiety is like on 1,000. He was like, I'm just posting this video, so I don't care if it goes viral or not. I just felt like it was something I needed to say. So please reshare or don't reshare. He said, but I just felt like it was something I needed to say.
I'm glad he did that. At the same time, like, we weren't there. We don't know. Right. So we really don't know what kind of, transpired between the two of them. But if I were him and he was serious about that, defending himself, I would absolutely hire a lawyer and fight that in terms of, defamation, other things, you know what I mean? And so, because it is causing him distress, but at the same time,
yeah,
you kind of wonder if she, what kind of person, like, if you didn't really think that was what was happening and that really didn't happen to you.
Yeah.
Why would you post something like that? So it's like you have to question too, like, maybe she was under the impression that he was really doing that, or she really felt that in that moment. Because they always say, oh, well, if somebody tells you, they were whatever, like, believe them. But no, you can't always believe them. I don't believe that. However, what kind of sick individual would do something like that? Absolutely. So we can't automatically believe him, but we can't automatically believe her either, or disqualify either one of them. I don't know.
And so, yeah, that brings me mainly to our main topic, which was like the impact of like false allegations.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. People make false allegations against a person that can really impact them, like ruin their lives. And the person that's making these accusations, once they're proven to be false, if they are, they just get to kind of walk away scot-free. And it's just damaging, I think, to other women or men who have legitimate things that are happening to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, if you can afford it, I feel like you should have some type of recourse. I mean, and try to pursue that. You should have some
recourse, but the
especially
other thing,
if it's like really damaging reputation.
Absolutely,
like in this case.
I read about a young man who went out on a date with a young lady, and he said they were having a good time. They went back to the room or whatever. He said he was kissing on her, and she was uncomfortable. He said, "Okay, well, all right, fine." He said, but she still stayed the night and spent the night. And he said he could just tell the next day it was just like weird. But I guess for some reason she felt like he should have picked up on those clues, like when he first kissed her, and she was like, no, I don't want to go any further. He said, I was like, okay, it was cool. She still stayed the night.
Yeah. And then like it wasn't the first time that they had made out, if you will.
Yeah. And so,
but it's an excuse, but like
it's not an excuse. But he was in college. He was up for review. She just did not let it go. And then it's the reputational harm in it as well. He said her friends and other people were like coming up to him and like, how could you do that? And he said, you would have really think like I raped this woman. He said, ultimately, all the investigations were done. I was not found to have done anything or found guilty of anything, but it has literally like ruined my reputation at the school. It did something to, the self-esteem of himself as well. And I'm not trying to victim blame. I don't know. It's just a touchy
like
thing.
I think I did see this, and then he was talking about how, there was just no proof, right?
Yeah.
How the hell do you prove that? You
exactly.
Know what I'm saying?
It's just the two of you.
I don't know. Like who it's just who you choose to believe. Whoever's mediating, who they choose to believe. And I will say, I had a car accident once, and this is the oddest thing, but we were on an incline, and the woman rolled back into me. Her car like rolled back into me. She fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh, weird.
And so she didn't hit me hard, but she rolled back into me, and she just really went into like crazy mode, jumping out the car like, oh my god,
oh, okay.
What happened? And she was accusing me of having hit her.
Did she realize she didn't realize she had rolled backwards?
Well, she did immediately and woke her up, right? Because the impact woke her up. But when we went to court,
that's crazy.
It came down to a matter of who the judge believed, right? And the judge believed me. Because the way that we told our stories, and in my case, I was clear, like she hit me. I tried to go back. I tried to find like video footage of that intersection and everything, and I couldn't get it. It just wasn't available. This was a while back.
Was she in a stick shift? How did this even happen? How do you just roll back?
Well, she fell asleep at the wheel. So if some cars, like when you take your foot off of the brake, they'll roll back. Like, like I said, this was a while back. Like some cars will do that even now. And this was an incline. So, so I was just sitting there, and I started beeping my horn actually when it was happening.
Oh, wow.
But all to say, this actually went to like traffic court, and the judge ruled in my favor because the way I explained the whole thing and what happened and everything. And she was a bit like, sensational about I have cancer, or
what
this and that. Nothing but like,
I'm sorry
this was
cancer,
all part of like her story and her tale. But in that case, neither one of us had any kind of physical proof. In most cases, you would think because the impact was between the front of my car and the back of hers, that it's automatically going to be my fault. Right. But no, like that's the judge ruled differently.
So much anxiety.
It did.
It's like you're trying to speak your truth, not just your truth, just what actually happened.
Yeah.
And this person is portraying it.
Yeah.
Like, and taking it all the way. It couldn't have been that much damn damage. Y'all.
It wasn't.
Traffic court? That's just insanity.
It wasn't. But I got a ticket for it because the police officer who reported, he just said anytime you have this type of, incident, the person who's in the back is going to be accused. Yeah. And so that's why I fought it.
Which is crazy. I recently saw a segment on Good Morning America where this woman, and thank God she had a camera in the front of her car for whatever reason. I don't know why people do that.
I'm about to get one of those.
She has one
dash cam.
She said that a car purposely swerved in her lane and slammed on their brakes.
That's happened.
She stopped. She actually stopped. But when she stopped and she didn't hit them, they actually went into reverse and backed into her car so hard that they had damage. Yeah. So she gets out and starts talking to them, and they like pull off. They were trying to pull some kind of insurance scam,
yeah. I think they saw the camera and then they scrammed basically, but they had already had like their license and all that. Yeah. But yeah, girl, I used to have a dash cam. My mother bought me one, but it broke. I broke the glass of it when transitioning from one car to another. But I'm about to get another one because it's just too much stuff happening out here.
People are just not on the up and up anymore. But this whole story about the young lady like video recording this young man and just uploading it, millions of people saw this. Yeah. And his friends, so many of his friends came to his defense. Thank God. They were just like, he is just not that type of dude. And they were just like, it's clout. You are clout chasing because you got over 1 million views on a video.
I get it. But like, you know, parents often say, my daughter would never do that. And we know Billy, you know, Byron.
I don't know. I just wish people, I wish people would just really subscribe to, you know, do unto others. Yeah, and just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You wouldn't want that done to you. Like,
absolutely not.
I don't know. This world is trash, man. It's crazy. People are trash.
Yeah. I think we're in this kind of culture where, like, you know, the truth is not important anymore, especially when you have a leader.
Especially the lie is more interesting. Let's not even get to the leader.
Well, you know, you have a leader and like all he does is lie.
Yeah. So I just don't get it. That's just not honorable. I mean, the man himself said he could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and get away with it. And with everything that I'm seeing and how he smoked Kamala Harris, I believe it.
That's the only lie he didn't tell.
That's the only lie he didn't tell.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people think he does not care about the American people, in my opinion.
I don't, to be quite honest, like, you know.
I think he cares about being president and he cares about having power. You know? But yeah.
I mean, I wasn't enthused about either one of them, but I was pretty dead set. I didn't want to see him in office.
Girl, you know? I mean, I think one of the questions you asked me was like, who lost, who won, who lost? I definitely feel like the American people lost. They lost the opportunity for like a fresh perspective even. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. That's exactly who lost.
I mean, Kamala could have she could have had a better message as well. She didn't really talk about the differences between herself and Joe Biden. That was an opportunity that she missed as well. She was even asked questions like, what would you do differently? There's things she could have said.
I think she was in denial about like some of their failures in office, like today. Yeah. She could have been honest about like how she didn't handle certain things. She could have been more explicit about like if her hands were tied in some way. Yeah. So it kind of gave you the impression your hands really weren't tied. You had the power, you had the influence at least to make certain changes, and you didn't take it. Yeah. And then I felt like the whole last minute.
But I think as VP, you are supposed to support your partner in a way.
You are supposed to support the president. But that's your role. But I'm just saying, you absolutely have the influence. You absolutely have that person's ear. Yeah. And then I'm saying, if you didn't, and it would push back on you, then you should be explicit and open about that. Look, I suggested X, Y, and Z. Yeah. I put forward this kind of bill to be approved. I did X, Y, and Z, and this is why it didn't happen. I
would have said it too. Ultimately,
he say why it didn't happen.
What he thought was best.
Exactly. Despite, and I'm going to do what I think is best, which is X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And she didn't really lay that out. And then also fourth quarter, you come up with this, plan pandering to black men about, what you gonna do for them. They had already switched over, but like they weren't
going for it.
And a lot of men, not just black men, just really couldn't fathom having a woman in office. Period.
We're living in a patriarchy for sure. Yeah, a lot of men feel like other countries wouldn't respect us. As having a woman as well. So I don't know if it'll ever happen in my lifetime. I pray that it will, but we'll see. We shall see. But yeah. Indeed. All right, everything is coming back to that. But I'm gonna be all right. You gonna be all right?
We gonna be all right.
Girl, we ain't got no choice but to.
That's part of my each one teach one message though.
Speaking of which, let's go and get to that. What's up?
Do not be dismayed.
Man. Don't be.
I mean, because I think, with all the stuff that's happening, obviously, in the world and politics and society, a lot of it is out of our control. I mean, you and I live in a red state, right? So we can have majority like vote in a particular way, and the electoral vote still sway in another person's direction, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, like we're not going to stop living.
Nope,
that's not the plan.
No.
So you got to keep pushing.
I agree.
That's my message. You know.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Don't be dismayed.
Don't be dismayed. I guess my message, I'll go into something that I experienced last week, you know, and that is that you can literally be complaining about something that you have, and then you turn around there's another person that doesn't have what you're complaining about at all. Yeah. And so things can always be worse, you know. And my experience last week was I bought a new pair of shoes, some flats. I've been looking for some decent looking flats. And I walked around them at work. They bothered me all day because they were a little bit too big. You know, the shoe that I had on did come in a half size. So I had to get a whole size, you know, a half size bigger than my regular size. I got little feet. 6.5. I wear 6.5, and they only came in like 6, 7, 8. So I got a 7. I was like, okay, maybe I can make this work. They got on my nerves all day, those shoes. By the end of the day, I was like walking on the back of them. At work, girl, I was a mess.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I cannot stand these shoes. I was complaining. I get in the car, go home from work. There's a woman walking down the street with no shoes on. I was like, oh my God, I've been bothered and complaining about these shoes all day. I have a pair of shoes.
Yeah. You got a lot of shoes.
I did a U-turn in the street, and I actually gave them to her. I took them off my feet as I was driving.
Very nice. And
gave them to her. So, yep. Yeah. So the things that you're complaining about, these are things that you actually have. My mama said one of her terms is you complaining with a loaf of bread under your arm. Like you saying you hungry, you got a loaf of bread on your arm. You don't want that though, but you got it. So yeah, that's my each one. Just
be grateful.
So, yeah, be grateful. Yeah. Be grateful for what you have, you know.
Yep. Somebody has a lot less.
Someone has a lot less, you know. You're blessed to have whatever it is you're complaining about that you got that you don't like or don't fit or whatever. So that's my each one teach one.
All right.
So, and that brings us to the end of our show. And we want to thank you for sticking with us as we continue to grow. You can listen and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We also invite you to like and follow us on IG and TikTok, and email us at spontaneousdisruption@gmail.com to chat with your hosts or propose topics for future episodes. With that, we'll see you next week, and
we out.